On May 12th, 2023, Elon Musk announced who the new CEO of Twitter was going to be, and people had opinions. What I'm going to tell you in this video is a reminder, and it shouldn't be a reminder because you're here today, and I imagine the reason the majority of you are here today is because you care about Bitcoin, or you're at the very least interested in Bitcoin. That tells me one very clear and distinct thing about you. No matter how deep into Bitcoin you are, you're curious. You ask questions. You don't take the status quo and just accept it blindly. And yet, that is exactly what happened on Twitter. It's almost as though people have curiosity until they don't want it anymore. They find some cozy little blanket to cuddle under, and then they go, and nothing else can change me. This is the facts I know, and I'm good here. If Bitcoin has taught you anything, it should be to continue being curious, continue to ask questions, always seek new answers in many, many facets of your life. Do you need to keep on questioning whether or not water is good for you? No, not really. And yet, when the new CEO of Twitter was announced, and I'm probably going to butcher her last name here, but I believe it's Linda Yaccarino. When she was announced as the new CEO, people were up in arms. They were losing their bojangles, their marbles, saying, oh, she's a WEF shill, she's going to come in and censor everything, yada, yada. And that might be the case. I don't know. I'm not here to tell you that definitely won't happen, but I'm also here not to tell you that it definitely will happen. I don't know. I've never met the woman. I know nothing about her besides her name and a few things that I've read online by people that probably also haven't met her. I'm going to present you with a few things that shine a light on this from a slightly different angle. If you leave the video saying, nope, she's still somebody that I don't want anything to do with, I'm going to have a piece of advice for you. And if you walk away from this video going, maybe there's more to the picture than meets the eye, I will have some advice for you as well. This first tweet from Alex, ALX, who is a widely followed person. I think he's met Trump, he's met Elon Musk. He's a person. I don't really know anything about him, but I know he's widely followed, and I think I'm following him. Anyhow, he says here, Elon and Twitter 2.0 employees aren't putting in hard work until midnight at XHQ so that it can become a pro-censorship platform again. I'm going to read this in a proactive way. Elon and Twitter 2.0 employees are putting in hard work until midnight at XHQ so that it doesn't become a pro-censorship platform again. That I can tell you. There's a total shift in atmosphere there from the workers I talk to, and that's not going to change regardless of CEO. When things go bad at a company, on a large scale, I'm not talking about the bathroom didn't get swept and the toilet paper wasn't changed out. That's the janitor's job. I'm talking about large systemic issues. The whole thing, the whole system, it's bad. What happens? Who gets chucked to the pits for the rabid masses to tear to shreds? It's the CEO. That's who. And if people are lambasting what new CEO Linda is doing, she's going to be the first one to go. That's how it works in the corporate world. The CEO is the most visible face of the Hydra as a whole. Most of the other Hydra heads stay down below. You don't see them most of the time, but the CEO is the one that's poking up out of the hole and is going to get lopped off. If things go bad and people are saying we don't want anything to do with this, primarily advertisers, where the money is, if the money starts to leave, the CEO is going to be the first one to go. Here's another tweet I'm going to read to you that'll give you more perspective. Liz Wheeler here says, and I'm not really sure who Liz Wheeler is, but she's got nearly 1 million followers, so she's doing something that a lot of people like apparently, or it's got a lot of bots. Host of a show named after herself. Okay, she seems like she's right-leaning from what I can tell here. Yeah, that looks like it. Anyhow, she says, rumored CEO candidate Linda Yaccarino follows libs of TikTok, Babylon Bee, Cat Turd, J.K. Rowling, Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy, Ron DeSantis, Rick Grenell, Jesse Waters, Dinesh D'Souza, Maria Barter, Russell Brand, Jay Guy, Carol Markowitz, Miranda Devine. I recognize most of those names, but not all of them. And there is one thing that the ones I do recognize have in common. They are generally right of center when it comes to their political views. Now, as people say in the comments here, is Linda following these people because she's interested in what they have to say, or is she monitoring them? I don't know. I don't know, nor do you. You might think you know, and you might be convinced enough that that is fine and your opinion is set in stone for you and there it is, no changing it. But we don't know. All we can know is what will happen, and that hasn't happened yet, so we gotta wait and see. Here's another tweet. This one from E, who is got a bit more than 500,000 followers, molecular biology, film producer, podcast. Okay, he's a husband and a dad. He's a dude. He's a dude that people pay attention to. Got it. E says, new Twitter CEO follows Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, TPUSA, Blexit, WikiLeaks, Dan Bongino, Libs of TikTok, defeated Crooked Hillary, Joe Rogan. So again, more people that she follows, and once again, is she following these people because she wants to know what they have to say? She's interested, genuinely interested. Oh, that's a neat take. That's interesting. Is she trying to get views from other sides? I haven't seen one of these tweets that show the other things that she follows. That's definitely not all she follows. Let's go through and look at some of the people that she follows. Some of these people I'm going to recognize, some are not. She follows USA Today Show, Peacock. I don't know who this guy is. Walt Mossberg, Vinny Dunleavy, Axios. That's a good news site from what I've seen. Bill Mayer, Tesla, Russell Brand, J.K. Rowling, The Rabbit Hole, Daniel Ek, father, CEO, some guy did something with Spotify. Okay, got it. Andy Kleinman. Who's this guy? He's a dude at entertainment at technology. Okay, 11,000 followers. Rashida Jones. Susie Deering. Ian Schaefer, up to something big in sports media. Okay, Imar Khan, co-founder and CEO of Verishop. Find something unique you'll love. Shop from independent brands. Okay. Ross Gerber, co-founder CEO of a thing. Freep Autos. Latest auto news from Detroit reported by the Free. What? I mean, she's all over the place with the people she follows. I am of the assumption, maybe I'm naive, maybe I'm an idiot, that the WEF has people working for them that are not crazy lunatics, lizard, bug-eating people. I assume the same is true for most all companies. For a time, my wife and I moderated for a group called Better Angels. The whole point of this group, this system, this club, whatever you want to call it, was to go around the country, introduce people that identified as right-leaning and people that identified as left-leaning, red and blue, and get them to talk to each other. The moderators were completely impartial. All they did was point to a person, move through the circle, and go, okay, answer this question. What do you think about this? And then get people to talk. We had to go through a screening process and do interviews to make sure that we were impartial, even to the point of not making any facial expressions. We were there to only instigate people talking to each other. And every time that we did this, the same thing happened walking away from every single one of those. And it was, boy, we have way more in common with each other than I would have expected. The thing about the internet is it acts as a bit of a magnifying glass. Things get reverberated. It's almost like looking in a mirror when there's a mirror behind you. It's like, whoa, there's 10,000 of me. I just go on forever. No, there's one of you, and you're right here looking in a mirror. But online, echo chambers form, and we forget that we're just humans on the other side of a screen trying to make sense of this insane thing we call life. Even the WEF came around and said, how Crusoe Energy catches methane to power data centers, which are Bitcoin mining things. Methane is one of the most potent greenhouse gases, trapping 80 times more heat than CO2 over a 20-year period. Meanwhile, data centers are a growing ecological issue. By 2030, they could consume 8% of global electricity, up from 1 to 1.5% today. Crusoe Energy, aligning the future of computing with the future of climate. We eliminate the environmental impact of energy-intensive computing application. Crusoe Energy, beautiful shots from the @Backen today. We're helping our partner mitigate 900,000 cubic feet of flared gas per day at the site. A win for the operator, a win for the environment, and a win for Bitcoin. There's that triple win. Look at this. That is definitely a Bitcoin mining facility if I have ever seen one. This is the WEF speaking positively about them. That's the point I'm trying to make here, is that there are good people all over the world. Yes, even in the WEF. And considering we know almost nothing about Linda aside from who she follows and some things that she said, and people change their minds, people come into new knowledge, people discover new things. Look at Saylor. He's got that tweet from back in the day, 2013, where he's saying that Bitcoin's going to go the way of online gambling. Well, last I checked, both of those things were doing pretty damn well. My advice for you, if you don't know what to think of Linda, is don't make up your mind. Just wait and see. Look and see what happens with Twitter. If you don't like it, that's okay. There are other options out there. If you are on the other side and your mind is already made up about how horrible and rotten this woman is and how Twitter is in the toilet, then don't stay on Twitter. If you are going to bash a thing, don't stay there. It's like complaining about how bad the smell is in a place and then sitting there and just sniffing away. Don't do that. If you don't like it, move on. Noster's there. There are other options. You don't have to stay on Twitter. Some of you might say, well, I have to stay on Twitter for work, or that's where everybody is, so if I leave, then I won't be getting the same connections, and I get that. And then you might also say, I have a right to complain, and I get that too. But what good is the complaining doing? All I'm trying to defend is inquisitiveness. That's what we as Bitcoiners should have. Maybe not the paramount thing, but it should be pretty high up there. Because the whole reason that we paid attention to Bitcoin is, well, either you're an absolute genius and you just figured it out after the first few sentences, maybe, I don't know who that is, but most of us, most everyone that I've talked to, spent dozens upon dozens, if not thousands, of hours of researching this thing, and they're still nowhere near done. So don't make up your mind after a few tweets, a couple announcements about one person. Keep on asking questions, keep on digging. Always seek truth before coming to some reactionary conclusion.